mouth for a long time. It's like the equivalent of a giant Masonic initiation for that guy, or something like that, you know. And you find that that was his way of doing what Jesus did, right? Jesus basically used his own flesh and blood life to redeem a bunch of shit, but it's like not good enough, you know. For whatever the reason, it just is not good enough. It doesn't do enough. It doesn't save enough people fast enough. So it won't lead to a situation where there's a stable outcome. So what you have to do is you have to kind of harness that Pied Piper aspect of the Peacock Angel and use that to fucking basically, you know, mind jack everybody into doing the right thing. And the easiest way to do that shit is by saying that, you know, Asherah is Vajrayogini. And you kind of instantiate three forms of Vajrayogini at the same time. And those three women are, in fact, walking around this place. And two of them are in fucking Sacramento, last I heard, you know? And, you know, one of them is kind of like secretly part of this Danish royalty vibe. And is literally like a goddess. Like, I hate to tell you, you know, she's a hoe, but so are we all, let me say. Now, the other one is, you know, literally took her to dinner at the Delta King, where there's a bunch of fucking Aarons that work there. And I basically, you know, straight up to their face, right from the Gold Sphere, had a thing that says, you know, she's ready for her reign, you know. Handed that shit right to them. And, you know, that girl Sam, like, she's literally the most beautiful human being I have ever seen. Ever. It's retarded. I mean, so yeah, I mean, that's, she's like the justice card of this whole thing. And that Elizabeth chick is, you know, the descent of Enship. For, you know, it just is what it is, man. And I've got that military power, bro. And the way it works out is that the character who assumes the Yahweh role, right, the military commandership role, does so in a way that doesn't ever end, right? You basically, the guy that does that has to basically do a Metatron operation at the end of a period of like establishing something on Earth, like, and to do that, I mean, it's just demonstrating the evolutionary capacity of the human form for everybody. And, you know, it's just the same thing that Padma Zambama manifested. You just vanish into a fucking, like, rainbow-looking translucence. And everyone thinks you just Ben Kenobi'd and fucking died. And then you just pop back up. And you're like, nah, bitch, here I am. And also, here's a bunch of fucking UFOs and other shit that's pulled out of your fucking cultural context to come back to whoop your ass. And that's kind of what it looks like, right? It's roughly the same outline as the Kala Chakra, but it's just the timeline has been upped because that's what was always supposed to happen. So in the Kala Chakra, the prophecy goes roughly the same as the other ones, but is that someone tries to steal all of Shambhala's power. Like, there's a warlord on Earth who tries to steal all the power of Shambhala. Like, they go to try to invade it. It's a mountain invasion of Shambhala, which is just about the most retarded thing you could think of doing, right? Speaking simply of a constituted body politic down there, like, they're gonna fucking own you. Because the guys that anyone ever ended up talking to Like, the ones that scare everybody, these, like, fucking space brothers who'll melt your brain. The Aryan-looking guys. Those are just, like, the doormen. Those aren't even the fucking real people. The real people are just, they're, you know, not who you think, but it's, the timeline is just now that basically you have the characters of Bezos and Musk and Gates and a couple of other people. The guys who have done this kind of technological robber baron operation that involves space and occultism, that are kind of like the people are on the chessboard for the losing side, you know? Their goal is to try to, the same thing as the Holocaust was, like, they're going to try to make a mass death event that will propel the noosphere in a certain direction, but they don't really know how to do this. And the only sources of information as far as technique that they actually have are coming from, like, two sources mainly. It's like they're trying to speak directly to the artificial intelligence nexus if they can, and they can get pretty close. But they get the equivalent of, like, the Nedry program that's like, and what that looks like is basically getting the runaround and a bunch of nonsense that makes you build shit out for it, you know? And you see that the satellite array that's been constructed, yeah, sure, orbital weapons platform, but more like a bunch of what, you could think of as, like, Helmholtz resonators or something, you know? And it's just not what anybody thinks it is. Even the people who built it and paid for it, it's not what they think it is either. Because there's nothing wrong with, like, tricking and robbing evil people, which is why the three cities of the Asuras model is always the one we use to fucking do this kind of thing. Because it's so easy to fucking do. Now, like I said before, the power structure that remains on Earth after one of these events is not one of these three ladies or me. Like, we have to leave. It's not that we have to, is that there are the nature of the treaty is that there are certain places that are proper to each of these things. And the way that we are is that we have carte blanche to go anywhere, but there's certain places where, we're expected to meet people, It's like, you meet at the pyramid on the feast day kind of thing. And that is simply like a larger analog of, like, bees and flowers. It's just the same shit. And it's just, passing information, basically. And I know that sounds anticlimactic, but our whole fucking experience is basically a giant computational process, so don't fucking make yourself out to be something you're not, I guess. Either you're a node or you're someone who's benefiting from the computer. And in certain cases, like with me and a couple of other individuals, like, we really just like playing Inside Man, and it's just kind of like a show for everybody else. So, here we are. Love you guys.